Oh man, I'm glad I watched this twice this week.
Yeah,
I gotta say that because something about me is that I hate non-endings. Like, this is one of the reasons I don't watch a lot of anime, is because I get so angry when we get to the end, when we get to the finale, and it's not an ending. Like, it ends in a way that's like, all right, the story's going to continue next week, and it never does. And so, so the first time I watched this, right after we got done recording, it got towards the end. It got to Venice, frankly. And I was like, there's all these new people, and now, like, what's going on? And there was like no ending, and in fact, it ends with Mr. White, and I'm so when it gets to this ending and the credits start rolling, I'm sitting here thinking, you didn't end the movie. Like, there's still more movie to go. Like, you didn't answer all the questions, and now I'm just supposed to be okay with it, and so I was bitter for a lot of this week. I was like, this movie sucks. I'm going to give it a bad score. And then I just kept thinking about it, and I was like, maybe I'm going to watch it one more time. I usually give these things 2 viewings. I'm going to watch this a second time just to make sure that, like, I'm not being bitter. And I'm glad I did, because like I was just like, okay, even if this doesn't really have an ending, I have a better understanding of what they were going for, and it feels like James Bond year 1.
Yeah, I did start the second one today just to be like, okay, well, where does it start? And it's like, oh, well, maybe I'll have to watch Casino Royale again and then pop on the next one, or at least the Venice part to the end. But I think I have agreements with what you said on most of the final epilogue act.
Yeah. And that, I think it's because it's an epilogue, but it feels so long that you're just like, you think that the movie's still going, that the story is still happening, but we're living in epilogue territory, where it's like
2 hours and 20 minutes long. I was like,
they gotta end it somewhere.
I mean, hopefully we'll hit on it when we get to the train, but man, I'm like, oh, right. So the spy movie also has a enemies to lover movie, because we're only an hour in and we just met her. So we need 90 more minutes to get to know her.
I was watching this video about the first cinematic Fantastic Four. Because the first Fantastic Four never made it to theaters, and it's largely considered a failed movie, but it does exist. You can buy it. But a few years later, Fox was obligated to make a movie for the theaters, and that movie was Fantastic Four. And it spends so long building up how the Fantastic Four got their powers. And I was listening to someone talking about it, and they were like, dude, in the cartoon and in the comics, it's always been maybe a page. Like, it's the shortest thing to be like, and they got their powers. Now let's go on adventures. And this movie was like, no, we got to really, like, savor this. And I kind of get that sense here, but better than Fantastic Four did it.
Sure. I feel like the action scenes were enjoyable, meaningful. Like, here's the action spy plot, and along the way, instead of just a disposable woman, he finds someone that is Mrs. Bond, Tracy, right?
Yep.
It's like, oh, again, Bond doesn't get to live happily ever after.
That's going to be the theme. Bond will never know love. Not permanently. Hello and welcome to Potato Chip Pictures, a movie franchise review podcast. We are currently looking at the Bond franchise, and by we, I mean my name is B. Sammy Davis.
Hello, I'm Justin.
And today, we are on a hard reboot. We are on to 2006's Casino Royale. And this time, it is a hard reboot. Compared to all the other ones, this is definitely the one that's like, scrap it all, we're starting over. So much so that they finally got the rights to the very first book. Apparently, around this time, they had also purchased the rights to the filmed Casino Royale, the original, and Never Say Never Again? Is that the Sean Connery unofficial
version?
We didn't watch it. We skipped it. But
oh, right, because he came back. But no.
Yeah. So Eon at this point owns the rights, and rather than, pulling those into the main franchise, it looks as though they just wanted to own the rights in case they ever want to use those stories, because they are doing Casino Royale based on the original, the very first James Bond book, and rebooting the character, like telling us the origin story.
Sure, I might try and get the book because I haven't read it, but maybe it holds up.
Yeah, I haven't read it either. From what I hear, this was a genuine attempt at making something fairly close to the plot of the book. Obviously, the details are going to be different because
and the timing and
like the technology. Just so much about it will just have changed due to history happening. But from what I've heard, the key elements of the plot are pretty close, or at least closer than they've ever tried to be. Yeah. All right, let's talk budget.
Nuts and bolts, dollars and dimes.
Exactly. Money and penny. I caught that line on the second viewing of the movie. First viewing, it went right over my head that we still got a reference to Moneypenny. Just a roundabout one, and not even a person.
I don't even think we get her next movie.
Yeah, I don't remember. I know she eventually shows up.
I know you said hard reboot. Everybody in the universe except the anchor person, M.
But it's the same actor, but this is definitely a different M.
You think?
Absolutely. So if we go back to GoldenEye, when we are introduced to M, she hates the Cold War. She thinks James Bond and the entire 00 section is a relic and that it should be decommissioned and be over with. She is a former analyst. She is new to the job, and she is someone who is here to take the reins from someone else. In Casino Royale, M has been M at least since the Cold War, and she was a fan. she misses the Cold War, and she still wants to do things the old way. She is hardened. She knows the game. She knows the rules. I think that while we have the same face, this is a totally different M. We have our fourth M in this universe. That's my statement.
It's interesting. I mean, it makes some sense. I didn't listen quite as hard to her motivations because she's M from before, but
yeah. Give it another viewing. This will be what, your third or fourth time watching this movie?
I watched it back, I feel like halfway through our probably right when we got to our Australian Bond.
Oh, Lazenby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember it was early on where you were like, I've got to go forward. I've got to see some of the light at the end of the tunnel. I can't.
We are in our last Bond era, with the exception of whatever comes out from Amazon.
Exactly. Like we are caught up to modern era with this Bond at least. But
I enjoy this Bond. At least this movie it was nice having not known too much of the Bonds. I remember watching and knowing GoldenEye, and that was a good first Bond movie for Brosnan. But all of the other ones, I don't think I have ever watched beforehand all the way through. So this is mostly where my first James Bond, this is like a Jason Bourne James Bond.
I was about to say it's the most mid 2000s of this movie is the fact that it's a gritty reboot. You get the dark, gritty reboot, which was happening with a lot of other franchises, but it was happening because everybody wanted dark, gritty movies, and Jason Bourne is a great example of that. You want something that is... Yeah, we gotta add that one day. There's a lot of spy franchises that I want to add, but I feel like I don't want us to become a spy franchise podcast. All right.
Just happened to start with the one that has 20 movies.
Yeah, and then we just do nothing but spy movies from here on out. This movie was directed by Martin Campbell. He directed GoldenEye, but did not direct any of the other Brosnan era movies. Now he's being brought back for another reboot. He got to reboot Brosnan. He's going to reboot with Craig. And
bring him back for the next one.
Here's the thing. He does not. And I'm sitting here thinking, are they going to have him be the reboot king? And when we get our next, our new 007, they're going to be like, hey, Martin Campbell, do you want to come back in?
Has he said anything or something?
I haven't heard. I mean, I haven't been paying that close attention to the rumors and stuff. And right now, at least my algorithm, whenever it's sending me news articles, they're like, hey, new James Bond, and it's all about the video game. And I'm just like, oh, come on. Stop that. But, it would, I'm going to look really quick just to make sure that we're talking about a still living man. Yes, but he is 81 years old. Oh. He is still active, so he is still directing and producing. But I don't know. I mean, maybe he would be good for coming back and doing it again.
I mean, I've watched a bit of the Lord of the Rings Amazon production. Not great. I watched all of the Fallout, and that was amazing. Mm-hmm. So 50-50 on the track record that I've watched. It could be another good reboot. I don't... While I feel we've gotten him becoming a 00 in this movie, you could probably just do some non-00 stuff for his actual first mission or something.
So what got him selected into the 00 program? Because he had a military career.
There's only 2 kills. I'm like, well, I'm sure there's more than just killing 2 people. You got to get selected for whatever mission that is.
Yeah, that would be interesting. And there is room for it. Anyway, last thing I wanted to say, budget of $150 million, just a little bit more than the last one, which was $142 million. Last one brought in $432 million. This one brought in $606 million. So
nice.
Did very well. $8 million more to make it, and just under $200 million in earnings. So good on them in that regard. And then, let's get into it. Let's talk right away, because this movie starts in black and white, and I almost thought that there was something wrong with with my movie.
I mean, it's come to grow on me as this is the past, making sure it's different than the movie. Okay. But true to your theory, it is completely unrelated to the plot of the actual spy mission. So
I love it so much. I was so happy.
see, and that's where it feels like that's a option that they just decided not to take for the last couple of movies, because
For
why
all
does it
of the
have to be?
Brosnan movies.
Yeah.
And I think all of the Dalton movies. I think they've been connecting them for a lot of movies. I'd have to go back and take a look. But yeah, like they just gave up on having a separate, unrelated mission. And I'm glad they brought that back because I love it.
Yeah, it's a nice, simple vignette of James Bond becoming 007 and the corruption possibly reaching up to the section chiefs. I'm like, well, that's interesting. Doesn't really play into much else in the first movie, but the second movie has all sorts of double crosses.
Yeah. Well, and there, I do want to bring up some of the double cross because you mentioned that, and I'm like, oh yeah, like his first mission is to go after a friendly, someone who is selling state secrets. It's this very cool black and white thing in Prague where they are. We're following this guy we've never seen before. He goes into his office, goes to his safe, and there is Bond sitting at his chair, all dramatic and imposing. And this is where we get the line. They have a short dialogue, and as you've mentioned a couple of times, they say it takes 2 kills to become a 00. Now, I don't think this just means 2 kills. I don't think that his military record counts at all.
Is empty.
Yeah, like exactly. I don't think he was in the Navy and somehow killed 0 people and then was selected to join an assassin force like that. No. So I think these 2 kills are MI6 specific kills.
Sanctioned.
Exactly. Yeah. Ones that are on the record. These are the missions that we have signed off on. Obviously, the public will never know about them, but we will know. We at MI6, because Justin and I are at MI6. We're revealing it now.
Yep.
So I like that. We've got Section Chief Dryden, who's very arrogant, and he's like, you have no kills. And then we get to cut to a really fantastic and oversaturated fight scene. Like, oh, it's such a good fight.
Yeah, it's a decent feel for it being a first official mission. Like, that seems like it's you could have probably done that cleaner. Oh, it's your first MI6 mission. Makes a bit more sense.
Exactly. It's going to be dirty. You're going to destroy an entire public bathroom. Oh, man, did they wreck that bathroom. Like, they took out the stalls. They took out a couple of the urinals. They definitely shot a sink completely off. And then Dryden pulls his pistol. There's no... he did that way early. Sorry. I was just thinking about the imagery of Dryden because we keep cutting back and forth between Dryden and the fight. And Dryden gets killed before the fight concludes. Like, we see the guy get drowned, but he's not dead. And then we go to Dryden and he's still arrogant and cocky and talking about how easy the second kill will be. And before he even finishes his sentence, Bond has put him down.
Yeah, it's a movie trope that I don't love. The someone that's dead and they are pretty dead and then they come back. But for the purpose of it being James Bond's gunshot barrel intro, it makes it less campy than walking across the screen and then pointing towards the gun barrel and shooting. It's like, okay, like it keeps the iconic imagery of Bond in the barrel, but kind of leaves the tuxedo walk across the screen too. to the past, and I think that's fine.
I think it's going to come back.
I mean, I don't remember the rest of them.
Yeah, I think...
For a reboot, I'm happy with it.
Yes, it is a very good framing, and we go... our first color of the movie is the blood running down the top of the frame. For all of these movies, that has been the opening signature of the movie, was the reverse assassination gun barrel shot. And now it's the end of the opening sequence. And yeah, I liked it. I like that they were able to incorporate the imagery into the story. So yeah, 2 thumbs up to the gun barrel shot.
10 out of 10 intro into a 1 out of 10 song. No, it's an 8 out of 10 song.
I was like, wow. Because I'm at like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. I'm not a huge fan of, I think it was Soundgarden, and Chris Cornell was the lead singer of... Well, this was not Soundgarden. Chris Cornell. Oh. I have to take those steps in order to remember his name. This was during his solo period before he died. I don't remember what year he died, but this was one of those kind of shockingly big songs that would show up for about 2 months and then disappeared. Just vanished, and I had forgotten it.
Yeah, I was trying to remember, like, is the theme song say anything about Casino Royale? And then I watched it, and I was like, oh, right, it's that theme song, which goes well with the intro, and I wouldn't necessarily put it on any of my easy listening music. Like, if I hear it, be like, oh yeah, if it's a trivia game, I could maybe say it's from this movie, but I couldn't tell you the name of it.
Yeah. Oh, crap. I can't believe that I've forgotten the name of it.
You Know My Name.
You Know My Name by Chris Cornell. That's right. Yeah. Thank you for saying it.
Good. It's good. It's not bad. It's a lot better than a lot of the previous songs.
Yeah, song is fine for me. I think my favorite part is the opening credits. A lot of people complain that, like, it's too different from the rest of the franchise in that there are no naked women who are stealthily shot. And maybe 20 years ago when I was a hound dog, I probably would have thought the same, but watching it now, It is so different from everything else. It fits with this hard reboot style that they're going for. So I'm just sitting here thinking, like, it works. It works with the song. I love the imagery. It works with the casino motif. Plus, people are getting shot with, like, suits and stuff.
The different diamond spades. It is fun in the setup to the fact that this is really about the outcome of a card game. And so it's like, okay, so focus on this, because there's going to be a couple of card games, but there's also going to be a whole hour of a spy movie before we get to the card game.
So we also got to show some action, because there will be action in this movie. I really liked the stylized animation. Because I think it's technically rotoscoped, where you film real actors and then animate over the film or to replace the film. But it could have easily been 3D models, on an engine and just computer generated entirely.
Like the ice women and fire women from the last. Pierce Brosnan.
Well, and now that I'm thinking about it, the Pierce Brosnan movie, that title credits were also directly related to the movie, because torture was happening in the plot. And this one is stylistically trying to really frame the gambling and cards aspect of this movie. So I don't know. This is one of my favorites. That's where I'm going to put Casino Royale's opening. This one really kind of shocked me, and I was enjoying it.
Yeah, I think it's a great moment to try a reboot, and then they ditch it for the intro of the next movie. So, oh, I haven't actually watched the second one very well.
I watched it once in theaters, and that's it. I have never seen it again. The only thing I remember about the next movie is that at some point they were driving hydrogen-fueled cars. And at the time, I desperately wanted hydrogen fuel to be the next fuel that we were going to use as a society. So seeing the bad guys driving in hydrogen kind of broke my heart.
It's the bad guys. It was the oil companies, you know?
Yes.
Although, in this one, how far are we? We're at the intro.
We're in Uganda now. So once the credits are done, it feels, if this were any other of the past, I'm going to say 6 to be safe, Bond movies, this would be the true opening of the movie, starting in Uganda, chasing the bomb maker. But thankfully they were like, no, this is where the story begins. Therefore, after the intro, after our prologue and intro, chapter 1 begins in Uganda with the bomb maker. And the Cobra fight.
I was just trying to think of remind me when I see
Bond, or not the Cobra fight. Sorry.
Cobra fight? No, Cobra fight's there.
Right. No, Cobra fight's in Madagascar. I'm sorry. We have to meet our villains. Really? I'm out of order. So first we meet Mr. White and a terrorist group.
Well,
that's Uganda.
I'll tell you that when I first watched it, I had no clue what these villains were going to do. And then it kind of didn't, the thread was a little hard to follow.
Yes. And that's why
I skipped it.
My first viewing of this movie, I was pretty harsh on it because we meet 3 villains right away. And none of them matter that much. One of them matters a lot because that's Lashif, played by Mads Mikkelsen. And he's very cool. He's a great villain, but he's not going to make it even to the end of the movie. Obviously, he's not going to make it to the end of the movie because he's a villain. But
I wonder if he makes it to where Vesper doesn't come in until 1 hour is up. Maybe he doesn't die until 1 hour's left.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like that. That's really how it feels. But we also meet Mr. White, who is brokering a deal.
Yeah.
The reason I bring him up is because he mentions a larger organization. We don't know what that organization is during this movie. MI6 doesn't know what that organization is during this movie.
I am dying because I had to look up, what's the name of the third guy? Because you got the chief, which I assume translates to something dangerous. And then Mr. White, which sounds like Reservoir Dogs throwback. And the Resistance Army is led by a man named Stephen O'Bannon. And I'm like, and your friend Steve.
Yep.
It's you and me. And your friend Steve.
Mr. White. And Steve.
I mean, you didn't look like... I was like... I did not expect his name to be Steven.
I didn't either. I when I saw that on the synopsis, I was like, whoa. I did not realize that. Yeah.
I don't know that they say his name in there, so that's why I was surprised.
He does appear later in the movie, but you're right. I don't think they ever named him.
No.
But this is where we are getting their deal. Steve is giving Lashif $100 million to invest in a bank with 0 risk. Lashif puts that money in his car and then gets on the phone and immediately puts all of it on a short stock.
On black.
Yeah. He immediately puts it into risk. Like 100% risk.
Yeah. Which, I mean, plays into getting the best return, but it is like, okay, we have to figure out why is he doing this.
And that's the beginning of the story. We are later going to learn that this call that he makes to short a specific stock is what is going to fuel the bomb maker threat that is coming up. Because now we finally get to go to Bond in Madagascar watching a cobra versus mongoose fight. And I'm pretty sure that the mongoose is the natural predator to the cobra. So that doesn't seem... Yeah, like that's not a very good bet.
So mongoose is going to win, maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a squirrel and a coyote or something.
Yeah, like, gee, I bet the squirrel's going to win this one. Like, no.
I mean, I do think the snake actually does get a bite on him, but then we get torn away because Bond's going to do some free running to chase down the bomb maker. And it's a really good chase. I enjoy it. It is a
good chase, and it's kicked off because Bond has a stupid assistant named Carter who, like, looks like a spy. He's a white guy hanging out in Africa, and he keeps holding his ear like an idiot, and Bond even tells him to put his ear down. But you're right. When the foot chase starts, the bomb maker runs past, and Bond just looks cool and chill, and then he spins around and takes off running, and it is so dope.
It's a good, like, spycraft type thing. Like, don't let him know that you're going to run and chase him down, and then start chasing him. Mm-hmm. Which, this chasing feels like, if I question the premise, maybe it might be like, why is he climbing a building? But he gets to climb a building and all sorts of improvisations happen. And I think that's what I love the most about it. Because
parkour is going to be cool forever.
Yeah. It's improvising and, I mean, planning. They do. But the non-free running bits, like, Bond will swing and hit a hydraulic coupling, and so then the scissors lift falls down for him to get down faster. And it's like, that's really cool, and it's like fast thinking under pressure, and so it plays a lot of, it hypes Bond up to be quick thinking, and I think that is probably his spy superpower in this reboot.
Oh yeah. Daniel Craig, I don't know if we've even mentioned it. He is our new Bond. He's about 20 years younger than Pierce Brosnan. Their concern was that they were going to have another Roger Moore situation where they had an old man next to a young woman and that people wouldn't buy it. So the producers had it in their head that what would be best would be having someone younger and age appropriate to whoever the leading lady was, who was Ava Green. Yeah.
Yep.
And I think an offshoot of that is that by having someone younger, they can be more physical. You can have them taking off at full sprints and having big falls. Like,
yeah. It looked really good.
He looked great in this opening. I keep calling it an opening sequence. We're in the third scene. Like,
we are several. Yeah, we are in this movie. But don't worry, we're only what?
20, 30 minutes in, like
sixth of the way through the film.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, the chase is fantastic. I love the parkour. I love the explosions. Yeah. I don't know why one of the random construction workers decides to fight the bomb maker.
Yeah.
Because that guy gets kicked off the building and then his torch, the propane falls with him and explodes. It leads to a fantastic explosion. It's just kind of weird that a construction worker would be like, I'm going to fight too.
Get out of here. Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoy, my hands get sweaty every time they go up on those 2 cranes, because it's not good enough for them to only have the 1 crane.
It's got to be 2.
Yeah. Oh, man. I do love when the bomb maker runs out of bullets and he throws his gun and Bond catches it with one hand and throws it right back. Like, oh, so video games.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
He chases him. They end up in the embassy.
Yep, I was gonna say, and then we gotta break the only rule that Bond is not allowed to break, and that is to enter an
not
embassy.
be a spy.
Yeah.
Like, your face.
Exactly. I was gonna say, by the time we get, so if this version of,
oh, wait.
huh?
It's like Sean Connery dying
Exactly.
with his face on the paper.
That's exactly what I was like. Sean Connery has broken into so many embassies and stuff like that. Like, if we follow this Bond through his career, he will be breaking into embassies regularly, and M is going to be so upset about that. She's just upset that he was caught on camera, and I can appreciate that. But yeah, it's after having that really fantastic free runner sequence, now we get a great gunfight sequence.
Yeah.
Because all these guards show up and start shooting at Bond, before they start shooting at Bond, he comes in so quickly that no one even reacts. He goes straight to the the office where the bomb maker is, breaks the nose of the ambassador, and then kidnaps the bomb maker. It's
a bit of a, domino superpower to just have things work out, but it feels brash, arrogant, but like he fails to get away cleanly, but man, he got so far.
Oh yeah. And he gets the backpack. That's one. So he's got the bomb maker and the bomb maker's backpack. And earlier he was like, we need this guy alive, but by the time he's caught, he pushes the guy back and just shoots him once in the chest and then shoots a propane tank, causes mayhem, and gets away. So really he just needed the backpack, I guess.
I'm trying to think of, I do feel with the grittiness, the fact that you just watch Bond shoot the guy feels a bit more visceral than the Brosnan era, when it's kind of a spray everybody down with the golden eye when they're shooting at the satellite.
Just thinking about the archives from GoldenEye.
But it's not so clear cut that you're killing that guy.
There's just something so personal about shooting one dude, especially in front of an audience. But it's fast. It happens quick. Bond gets away. We see him ducked into a ditch, and he goes through this phone, and he sees one message with the word ellipsis. Is that the name of the terrorist organization? What could it mean?
Organization.
Yeah, it's so mysterious. Ellipsis. So Bond has to go back to Britain, where the news is reporting about how the British secret service is killing someone in another embassy.
Yeah. I did just rewatch that a little bit. So she does say that she misses the Cold War. So, I mean, it's a nice tag to be like, don't forget, M is here. She's still the same lady. Let's introduce you again. And Bond will eventually have to talk to her about obviously screwing up. But we're off.
Yeah.
To see M and we're done.
I love it. Like, our introduction to her is in reference to the consequences of Bond's actions, but we don't need Bond around to meet M. Like, M is so important that we can have her alone in a scene and the audience isn't going to lose interest. So I like that we introduce, again, I'm sticking to my guns. This is our fourth M, played by Judi Dench, but this is a totally different M than Judi Dench's previous M.
Oh, so the M scene happens right after the sheaf on the boat scene. Because we get reintroduced to him.
Yeah.
I don't know if we said that.
He gets to have a scene where he's upset that his bomb maker has been killed and he needs to find another one. So he's having this card game with someone we're never going to talk to again. He starts bleeding blood or crying blood from his tear duct, his left eye. We never know what's wrong with his left eye, but we do know that it's nothing devious that he cries blood. That's just a thing he does.
Bullet stuck in there. His blood will get stronger.
That nearly choked me. I had to think about that for a brief second. But then, yes, you're right. Then we get to cut back to Bond, who has broken into M's apartment.
It was a nice... all of it has made Bond feel like he's a weapon and a loose cannon.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. He can just get into the top MI6 person's house and find the things he needs. And so he feels really good at the spy stuff. Therefore, his being visible in Madagascar has kind of come about because he's maybe counting on being too good to get him out of all the situations.
I was going to say, his Madagascar thing, I think, was a genuine mistake. I don't think this was him being so arrogant that he was like, and I'm going to be caught doing it too. I think this was, M even complains that she promoted him too early. I think this was a genuine mistake because we are at James Bond year 1. Like, this is Batman hurting someone a little too much and almost killing someone. This is Bond doing that. Not being so good at spycraft, but at the same time, he can figure out what M's actual name is. Because he makes some reference to saying, like, I thought M was a randomly assigned letter. I had no idea it stood for your name, which is, and she's like, you stop right there. And I'm like, dope. So we know he's good. He knows how to spy. He's just not so good in the field yet. Like, he's getting better. And in this movie, he's going to get better and better. But he's going to make a lot of mistakes getting there because he's a rookie. This is his first time doing it. And that's another thing I like. Like, on this rebooted universe, like, we are getting to see the first mission. At least that's what's suggested multiple times.
Yeah.
Like,
too early to promote.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like there's anything between the promotion and this one.
Exactly. Like, if this is not the first mission, this is pretty much... But Bond is dismissed. She tells him to go on vacation, so he does, and decides to go to a place called Malacca in the Bahamas. And I guess he's just gonna go continue to spy.
Yep. Found a place to go, found a lead, but if you're told to go on vacation and they don't know what you know, like, it feels like a dog with a bone. He maybe promoted him too early, but he's chomping at the bit to get going. So
yep, he doesn't need a mission. Like, if she's gonna tell him to go on vacation, then the mission is still on. Hang on, let's go. And he'll even mention that, like, at the end of the movie, he'll be like, is that why you told me to go on vacation? And she plays it off like, oh yes, that's what I always wanted to do. But I get this impression that she's like, I had no idea. Like, I was mad. Like, I wanted you out.
Oh, so I enjoyed the Bahamas
Mm-hmm.
kind of initial spy work, but I didn't ever really realize it until this last viewing that Bond's on vacation. So obviously he just flew in and rents a Ford car. I'm like, I don't know what type of Ford it is, but it is not his usual fancy spy stuff.
Yeah, it's just
maybe
a
you
car.
have to have some tenure as a 00 to get the fancy cars.
You have to actually be liked by MI6 for them to get you a car.
Oh, but that made me realize there's no Q in this one.
Nope, but there is an armory and there will be a car. So as I said, like, he gets better and people like him more. But
the armory.
they never say, like, this is the armory.
Right.
They've got this
car.
science department where everybody's plugged in. We'll get into it when we're gambling later.
Sure. I had forgotten about that car because I'm stuck in the Bahamas thinking about the cool car he gets. But
well, and this is more of that great spycraft. Bond has the bomb maker's phone, which had a text message that read ellipses, and it originated from a North American phone number. So he goes to the Bahamas, presumably tracking that number down. And then he uses M's computer to start looking up this guy that he finds. Okay, I'm going out of order. He gets to the club. He causes a scene that causes security to go to the parking lot. He goes in, finds the exact time when the text message was sent, and sees this person, sees their car, goes to the front desk and says, "Oh, I nicked this really beautiful car. Will you tell me whose it is? Because my conscience just won't allow me to live with that." The lady's like, "That's Alex Demetrios, and he sucks. Like, keep it to yourself, bro." But she tells him how to get to him.
I do think the Bahamas Bond vacation has started to hint at the what do you call it? The allure of Bond, because there's some models at the front entrance that take a second look at it, and then
there's
the
a lot of double
receptionist,
takes.
yeah, the receptionist kind of looks up and sees him and is answering, and she does a really good job of shifting her tone to be like, "Well, you're pretty to look at."
Yes.
So it's a nice soft intro without it being the
previous
Sean Connery Bond.
Exactly. Previous movies, and I think Brosnan included, had Bond essentially just meet a woman and instantly sleep with her.
Yeah.
Bond has spoken to a woman and did not sleep with her, we know she wants to just from the tone. We don't.
The director did.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm being a butt. But you're right. Daniel Craig is so charming. Like, he's so good at being an action star, but we forget that he is just as charming as Roger Moore. And I think that was the key to Roger Moore's Bond, was his charisma and charm. And
he does a good job.
Exactly. Like, I feel it. I'm like, I could see trusting this guy after one conversation. Like, he's just very charming. I'm going to say that word a million times.
A million times. Oh, well, I mean, he finds the guy that sent the text. The text is ominous, but he has to figure out what it's for. So he gets in a card game, bets against the guy to get his car, and then seduces the guy's wife in order to get more information. But he talks to her, makes out with her, and sticks to the mission.
I know. He never actually sleeps with her. Like, that was something that blew my mind. Like, they're making out.
It was a great reversal of, like, oh, you're expecting him to. The guy on the phone with the caviar is expecting him to. But Bond is on vacation working on his mission.
Mm-hmm.
He can have anything in the world, and he's going to focus on the mission. So it was very nice where Roger Moore, Pierce Brosnan would have been like, well, let's say breakfast, let's say we'll go in 2 hours. Make that 3. And it's like, not Daniel Craig. He wants to figure out what this word means. And so, because her husband is going to Miami to drop something off. And I'm like, how far is Bahamas to Miami? Bond has to get on the same plane, I assume. Maybe
I was going to say, it's a short flight, but I imagine that if he missed the same plane, he would either have to charter a private one, and he is not in good standing with MI6 right now, because, as I mentioned, but kind of glossed over, he uses M's login and password to research Alex Dimitrios, and like, M is upset about this. She's sleeping, and she's like, how does he keep doing this? But what I love about that scene is that you see that M is understanding that Bond is not on vacation. He is still on mission, and therefore she is going to get on mission. She doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know everything, but she knows where Bond is looking. And so she can kind of start getting the wheels working in London to, if she needs to, she can help in the future. And I might be reading way too much into this. I really hold this movie up.
Yeah, I think she does. No, Bond has to tell her, hey, we're at an airport. Look into what's going on, because I don't want to skip the body museum thing, but
I just all right. Quick aside,
sure.
My ex-wife and I, shortly after we got married, we went to Las Vegas, and at the time, the Luxor had one of those bodies exhibits, and so we went on that tour. She was very excited for it, and I was like, all right, this looks cool. I'm willing to look at it. Like, yeah, let's go. Sure. And then I started getting so nauseous. I had no idea that it was going to hit me like that, but yeah, I booked it out. She spent like an hour in the museum having a good time. I sat outside drinking a water bottle, just like, ugh.
I think, I probably could have the same reaction, because I've fainted while watching. The last time I watched getting immunization, I passed out because I just don't love the needles and the thought of it going in my arm. So
I could see
myself. Yeah, I could see myself reacting the same.
But in the movie, it didn't really get to me. Like, it was fine.
I was about to ask.
It was happening, and I was fine. I was like, okay, cool.
The one part I enjoy is when Bond is slightly distracted, and the guy gets the drop on him, and they have a standing, silent fight.
Yes.
And it's great.
It is wonderful. We get to see Bond make another mistake. Like, we see... I always forget his last name, Dimitrios. We see Dimitrios make Bond. Like, it's a blink and you miss it moment where Bond like turns away, the camera focuses back up on Bond, but as it's focusing, we see Dimitrios look over and make and catch him, see him. And so like, if you're paying attention, you're like, okay, Bond is caught. Now we just got to see how it happens. And sure enough, Dimitrios gets behind him, pulls a knife, and they start a struggle, but not a word is spoken. Oh, it is so cool.
Yeah, it's fun. The guy was dropping off a package, which we find out is a bomb, but Bond overpowers him.
I don't think it is a bomb. I think it's just the uniform. I think the bomb, the person who grabs the package has a bomb.
Oh.
That's what I think,
guess so.
Anyway.
Oh, yeah, because,
because he didn't pull the keychain out of the bag. I think he had the keychain.
Already?
Yeah.
So
because, why hire a bomb maker if you're going to give him a bomb?
Oh, I mean, that's fair.
But I might have missed it. I'm willing to watch this movie again to see if that's something that they did. But you're right. He had it's a very good setup, very good villainous stuff. He comes in with the bag with the cop uniform,
and then drop.
Yeah, and then like you
Leaves
were,
the coin.
He's got the check-in ticket. That's what it is.
Yeah. Pretty fancy check-in.
Yeah, for a museum exhibit.
Yeah. It's all very stylized, and you know what? I love the world that this movie lives in, so go ahead and make it happen.
Yeah.
So the change of clothes makes it so the bomb maker can get to this airport past security. Bond finally will figure out what ellipsis mean while he's talking to M. And it's another kind of movie trope to be like, I gotta go. Yeah. Move out before you're able to communicate anything. But it is like...
He communicated enough.
Enough, yes.
He did not get what he needed because he was just like, I'm in Miami airport. There's going to be a bomb. That information is communicated. And then as he's trying to... once M gets on the phone... Okay, we did gloss over. Bond makes a bunch of mistakes and a bunch of really good moves chasing down this new bomb maker. But... we are now at the airport and the bomb maker is dressed as a cop. He has gotten away from Bond and Bond is at a locked door calling MI6. And yeah, he tells the assistant, the unnamed assistant, get him on the phone. I'm at Miami airport and there's a bomb here. And so even if he never said that to M herself, when she gets on the phone, time has passed and Bond has had, a brilliant idea. A brilliant idea. I love it so much. He's looking at that other phone and he sees ellipses. And then he looks at the key code on the locked door and he's like, wait a minute. What if I typed ellipses on this number pad? Like an old T9 typewriter.
It's gonna work.
It's so great. I love it so much.
It'll finally pay off.
I miss those T9 calculators.
Yeah.
Did you ever do T9 or were you a ABC type calculator or typewriter person in those days?
For a minute, I typed by clicking the number 5 like 3 times, but not for very long. I didn't have to stick with it too long. Exactly.
I did it for longer than I'm willing to admit to, but when someone eventually showed me T9, I was like, this is brilliant. I love this system. And I got really good at texting fast. But with T9, you did have to know how to spell a word. And a lot of people were bad at it because they didn't know how to spell.
That's fair, yeah. Even with autocomplete, you can still not spell very well.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, the chase resumes. Airport. And MI6 has enough to know he is in Miami. There's a bomb maker in Miami. What is going on in Miami? And so they are doing research. They find out about a super jet that this publicly traded company is about to unveil. And a really fantastic chase scene ensues. I didn't like it the first time, but I loved it the second time.
It's got some really good stunt work.
Yes.
Like jumping around and rolling on the tarmac and cars and whatnot going everywhere.
Chasing really after a vehicle on foot. Like, there's great moments. There's one hiccup. One moment that could have been cut. And that is when Bond goes, or not Bond, the tanker goes through the baggage train. And then immediately goes through a
second one.
Yeah, like a bus style train. Yeah. And I think they could have cut one of them. I get that the mayhem, and maybe it's because they shot them so that they were both hit as a spectacle one at a time. That's why I don't like it. If they had hit them at the same time, it probably would have felt more like mayhem and just kind of bad luck. But doing it as an event with each one individually, I was like, cut one of them. I don't need them both.
Yeah, that would have been, yeah, I agree. Just the one would have made it better. Mm-hmm. I think the nice misdirection at the end where the bomb maker thinks that he's going to still blow up the plane, but blows up himself. It's a nice ending. I think Bond almost
We don't get
smiles.
to see him blow up himself, but we do get to see a flash of light reflected on Bond's face. And like you said, that
nice.
Little smile.
Like, did a good job, and you're going to get out of being arrested because MI6 is totally going to talk to the airport and be like,
yeah, like we don't get to see
okay.
that part.
Yeah.
Like the next scene is Bond arriving back in the Bahamas to see that Demetrios's wife has been murdered. And M is going to get on board with the mission, essentially, because she's like, look, we did research. There was someone.
Put a tracker on you.
Yes. They are going to put a tracker on him. Which, while on one hand, I'm like, oh, come on. Like, Bond's best aspect is the fact that he can be a ghost. He can disappear. But on the other hand, later on in the movie, it makes perfect sense that there is someone to monitor his heart rate and his vitals and his location so that we have a Bond who is safe, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, while he is getting microchipped like a good puppy, M is able to reveal that they were able to get some research done back in London, that there was someone who back in 9/11 had shorted a bunch of stocks right before the events of 9/11. And while the world mourned, someone got very rich that day. And now, had Bond not disrupted this plot, that would have happened again, but someone is now $100 million poorer.
Yeah.
And, they're both suspecting Lashif, and it turns out Lashif is putting together a $100 million poker game.
No coincidence there.
Yeah, it's
Don't worry
just
about it.
one of those weird little things that people do sometimes. They have $100 million poker games.
Yeah, I think it's. It's a good pause in the action, good pause in the plot to be like, okay,
let's get caught up.
This entire first hour, how many minutes is it? We are at 58 minutes when Bond finally is on the train. Yeah, that's where I was like, oh yeah, because rewatching it's like, oh, and then Vesper shows up, and it is the best intro to the second movie in this movie.
Yeah, this movie feels like 3 movies.
Yeah, with the ending, maybe the least successful part of the trilogy. Yeah,
of the 3 movies in this one movie, the third movie is the weakest. But our first movie was phenomenally strong.
Yes.
It was so good. And I'm very impressed with the beginning of the second movie. I had such a big crush on Ava Green when this movie came out. Like,
she's gorgeous.
Sure, wow. I've said this a few times where I've been like, this is the most beautiful Bond girl we've had, but Ava Green, hands down, like, boom, she's hit it.
Well, it's just such a playful intro that it's I don't know, it feels like it's more than she's pretty. It's entertaining to see them scuffle in a fight that Bond doesn't really win.
Yeah.
But she also has some vulnerabilities. And I mean, when I rewatched this, I rewatched it with my wife who hadn't quite seen it all the way through. And we've recently talked about books and stuff. And it's like, oh, this is just them being at odds, enemies, to them eventually becoming lovers. And it's like, well, it works for this one. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I'm not. There's a reason we use that trope. It works.
Right. Yep. So,
Yeah,
Excellent beginning.
It's cute. And she really is like an intellectual equal to Bond. She's not an action star. She's representing the Treasury. But she's just as smart as Bond. And very charming. And she doesn't... Like, this is one of those things where you could have a lot more Vesper Lynd in this movie and it would be better. But the amount that we get is also perfect. Where you're just like, wow, she made such an impact for the short time she was in this movie. The hour that she was in this movie.
I think it's a very fun, like, undercover movie now that we're in the second hour. They've got their reasons for being at the poker game. They have to kind of make sure that the poker game's going to go well, and we only really get action once the middle part has just happened. Like, but the middle part is full of banter and fun, and they seem like if they didn't actually like become lovers, they would be really good friends.
Oh yeah,
because I think in the later Daniel Craig's, like, Moneypenny shows up and she's about the same sort of equal, where it's like, this isn't anything romantic, but I can call you dumb and you can call me stupid, and we're chill.
Exactly. We're buds. And I could have been happy with that relationship, but I really also buy it. I buy the love story. Yeah. I do see, once again, at least for the second time, I can believe that Bond is falling in love, because he fell in love with during On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and I think there was a Brosnan movie he wanted to fall in love in, but I didn't quite buy it.
I'm trying to remember which one. Oh,
was it Wei Lin in Tomorrow Never Dies?
I don't think so. I feel like there's
love.
One more person. I don't know.
Yeah,
because like he ends up with Halle Berry at the end, but I kind of felt like the betrayal Bond girl in that one was maybe set up to be.
That's right.
Someone he was gonna like really well.
And that was the Denise Richards one. So he ended up with Denise Richards, but it was the betrayal lady, who I agree. I guess I did fall for that one, because until she turned traitor, I was like, wow, she's really into Bond. Like, it's kind of weird how much she likes this guy. But anyway, here's the setup. They have cover identities that they are going to immediately drop. The problem is MI6 introduced those cover identities into the card game. So Le Chiffre will point it out when they finally get to the table. But Bond is going by Bond. Let's just forget about the cover name. The only person who's going to remember it anyway is going to be Le Chiffre. But Vesper's role is the bank. She is providing the $10 million. If Bond loses that, she gets to make the decision about whether or not he gets to buy back in for $5 million. The total potential take for this poker game is $150 million. The minimum is $100 million, maximum $150. So that's the range we are playing with. Bond gets a really great black dress for Vesper, and she's a little offended by it and says something to make Bond upset. And then he goes to his room and sees that she got him a tailored tuxedo, and he gets all upset about it. But then he puts it on and he's like, damn, I look good.
It brings back the tuxedos of other James Bonds where he's just been in a suit up till now, and it makes it feel like, oh, the tuxedo, it's like, the Han Solo, here's the origin of that thing. It's like, well, he's trying to dress up for a poker game, and it's from someone that's like needling him.
Yes.
Because he's so predictable, and it's like, this is more endearing of why he has a tuxedo rather than he's a spy that wears a tuxedo. It's like, well, that's just kind of like, this is more gritty realism.
Yeah.
Except they're super spies.
Exactly.
Except for that.
We also meet a character named Mathis. He is a local agent from MI6. He's in Montenegro. He introduces himself by getting the local chief of police arrested in front of Bond and Vesper.
Make it easier for them to be undercover somehow.
I guess.
Didn't quite understand. Yeah. I was like, okay.
What they were saying is that Le Chiffre has the police in his pocket. So if there was going to be a problem, well, now it's taken care of because the chief of police has been arrested.
I guess he could have sicked him on any of the poker players that were doing too well. Or something
exactly.
Like that.
So this is just taking that play off the table. It seems a little over the top because it's like, all right, fine. We got a great sequence of a bunch of cops arresting one dude. But in terms of, I don't know, if we were talking like a chess game, this would be someone removing a big piece early on and then seeing if the other player can adapt their game to having one less piece.
I just realized what it is. It's the Bond meetup for information trope. They always have to talk to each other over something, but this one has something that happens rather than large maps.
We get our little bit of information. We gotta have it. But yes, we can finally, unless there's anything I'm missing for the setup, we can finally go to Casino Royale, where there is a private poker game, and it is the spectacle of the movie. I remember when I saw it in theaters, I was bored because I just didn't like poker at the time. But in the past, almost 50, we're 1 year away from 20 years. So in the past 19 years, a lot of video games, including Red Dead Redemption, have included poker as a part of the game. And I have found myself just sitting down, putting on some music and playing another video game to play poker. And so I'm starting to enjoy it. And now as an adult, I watch this and I'm like, I get it. I get why they decided to put so much focus on a card game. Like, this really is exciting if you know anything about poker.
Yeah. We've talked a lot since they met on the train, which was 59 minutes. The Casino Royale only starts 10 minutes later. So we still have so much time to dedicate to them playing poker.
Taking breaks.
So, yeah, they take breaks. They kind of do their cover story. Like, she wears the black dress. It looks kind of purple to me.
Yeah, I could be wrong about black. It could be a different color. It's just a beautiful dress to make everybody look at her. And that's the point that Bond makes. And sure enough, when she walks in, everybody looks at her. So he was right.
Right. I mean, the poker game feels like I don't know. I expect Bond to win. Mm-hmm. So he does lose at one point, but it feels like it's a mountain to climb.
Yeah.
Where Bond is, one of his superpowers is to be a really good card player. Like, how do we make it interesting? They insert, like, Chief getting into trouble with Steven, or Chief trying to poison Bond, or Bond actually losing because
he sucks.
He called a bluff. Yeah. And it's like, so there's 3 different things that happen that aren't necessarily.
There's 4. We're missing one
4?
other. He gets up from the table, I think, at least 4 times, possibly 5. So I'm going to try to run through them really quick, even though that cuts a lot of the movie. So we can come back to any of these. But he gets up once to get his first ever vodka martini that is very complicated. He is never going to order another martini this complicated again. But it sounds good. Like, I'm not a big drinker, but they read off the ingredients, and I was like, all right, I'd try that. Like, sounds good.
I have to say that as not a drinker, I didn't clock it as a martini until you see the glass.
Yeah.
Because, like, he just says the ingredients, and I'm like, oh, okay. But
yeah, it's very complicated. But he gets up after losing $200,000 and goes and makes out with Vesper, who is so mad at him that she does not want to kiss him back. So he'll come back. They play for 4 hours, and that's when they have their first break to go meet Steve. Later on, he will take a break when he loses. Then he'll take a break when he gets a bad drink. And then I think he stays. I don't think he gets up again.
I think in terms of Q Branch, the poison and all that is exciting. Mm-hmm. It comes after she meets with Steve, who's realized that he's lost his money.
Yeah.
But Bond, like, goes to investigate, but takes Vesper with him, which was kind of like, well,
yeah. Why?
She came along. Well, she came along essentially to be traumatized so that they can bond over it. I think that, like, it's not. It's like the scriptwriter in YouTube. Like, it's happening because she needs to be there so that it can be a whole ordeal.
Yeah.
But it is a nice gesture from Bond when he finally finds her sitting stressed out in the shower.
He doesn't seduce her. He doesn't take advantage of her. He sits with her, helps her clean off her hand, and then just sits with her. Just lets her process her emotions after she has helped murder Steve. The Steve came with backup, but that backup was killed right away. Like, he did not last in this fight. He was thrown from the top of the stairs, and that was the end of him for the fight.
Dangerous stairwell design.
Exactly. But the whole reason that they were or like you mentioned, they were in Le Chiffre's room trying to get his money back, and they just clocked Bond's earpiece. You know what? I bet the reason she was there is because they were staying on the same floor. No, they were in the doorway in the stairs. I have no idea why Vesper was there.
Because the script said she needed to get closer to Bond, and it works out, I think, in those terms, because it does feel like they are a little bit closer, and then the next time she gets to save him again. Yep. So if Vesper wasn't there, Bond would have died twice.
She just has to be there. And I, that's part of what makes her so charming, is the fact that she's there and she's willing to be a part of the action. She doesn't like that she had to take part in murder. She probably doesn't like taking part in resuscitating Bond. She probably wanted to just be part of the Treasury Department and have a good time there, but she is in the action here. When we get back to the table, they play until Bond is poisoned. Or no. They play until Bond loses, because Bond goes all in and loses. He had told Mathis and Vesper about Le Chiffre's tell. Now he has seen the tell, and he wants to wipe out Le Chiffre right now. So he goes all in, and unfortunately, Le Chiffre wins. And Vesper is not going to buy back in. We are done. Bond has lost. His ego got in the way, and he's out. He's out of the game, so he's going to grab a knife and go kill Le Chiffre himself.
Yeah. I think it works out okay because, like, all the reactions make sense. Like, you failed. I'm not going to bail you out. Because then that would be even more money that you're going to lose this.
And from Bond's perspective, he's like, look, if I can't force Le Chiffre to leave the organization and go to MI6, then I'm just going to take Le Chiffre out of the organization. So I'm into both of their reactions with you. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. He lost. She's not going to buy in. He sucks.
Yeah. Oh.
Unfortunately, Bond doesn't get to kill because, there's someone we haven't mentioned it yet, but Jeffrey Wright, one of my favorite actors, has been in the background of this poker game. And you've got all of these poker players who are just there. I don't think any of them are even actors. I think they're all professional poker players playing characters. Then you've got Jeffrey Wright.
You got Tyrone in there, though.
Oh, that's right. He is an actor. He's in stuff. Once you mentioned that. So they are probably actors. They're probably actual actors around the table. But Jeffrey Wright seems like the out of place actor even for that time period, because you're like, yeah, he's not star material, but this is not some background actor. And on the staircase, as Justin mentioned, he reveals that he is our new Felix Leiter from the CIA. Woo!
From Langley. I having not known about Felix in the previous ones, I was like, okay, so this guy's name is Felix. All right.
Yeah.
But now it's like, oh, this is James Bond's buddy.
Yeah, this is probably his best friend.
In the next movies.
I don't remember if Jeffrey Wright is in any of them, and I have not looked it up to see if he's in any of them, but I was genuinely overjoyed when he introduced himself as Felix Leiter. I was like, this is the perfect casting. I love Jeffrey Wright. I want him in every one of these movies. Because he can be kind of dark and like an action-y kind of vibe, but he can also be kind of nerdy and a little confused. And Felix, in all of the past times that we saw Felix, he has embodied kind of this cross between action and doofus. And I think an actor like Jeffrey Wright has proven that he could do both of those in one role. So even though we don't get him for much of this movie, and even after introducing himself, he's still in the background, I was happy. And he's going to save the day because he's going to do the buy-in for Bond. Like, he knows he's going to lose, so he's going to play to the end, but Bond will take the $5 million and return to the table.
And in 10 seconds, he's back up. I was kind of like, you know what? I'm fine with that. He bought back in. We don't have to see the mountain struggle. He just immediately has like $1 billion in front of him.
Yeah.
But there's still 4 players for the final hand.
He's got the second, or at least he's got as many chips as Le Chiffre. But yeah, we don't have to see him build back up. It's just such a jarring series of events that it feels as though right when he's back at the table, he gets poisoned. And so he's up again. He's away from the table again. He's like, presumably he had been there for some time in order to turn $5 million into however many millions he has in front of him. But to us, the audience, it feels like you just sat down and you're getting up again. I know you're poisoned and you have to go deal with that, but you keep standing up. Like, why can't you just sit down at this table and finish the dang card game?
We need to quickly see all of the Bond things. I know in previous movies, I think Brosnan, it was like, we have to reintroduce Bond. Here's all the stuff that makes him Bond. This maybe the little bit of the car and Q Branch.
Yeah,
is
they never
what the poison was.
explicitly say Q Branch, but when Bond went to the Casino Royale, he was given keys to a car. He went out to see the car, and in the glove box, there's some gadgets. Not a lot, but there is also a gun in there. But yeah, like we are getting early days of Q Branch. Right now, they are just part of MI6. They are a group of scientists and engineers who are working in the operations center with everyone else. They are close to M. They are close to everyone else's offices. Like, this is not a Q Branch yet. But they've provided a car, and that's cool. And thankfully, that car has a medical kit, because now that Bond is poisoned, he's got to make a quick call to MI6 to be like, hey, cure me.
Help. Yeah, it's fun. I mean,
it's stressful. It's a little stressful. I'll give it that. Like, I like the way they shot it.
Vesper comes and manages to save him because the wires come undone, and
in the defibrillator
gets back up, goes straight back to the game.
And just in time, because Felix is on his last $1 million, and he's just gonna bet it all on a losing hand. And meanwhile, there's Bond with his mountain of chips, but he's at an empty seat. Like, and I don't know how that works either. Like, would Lashif just win Bond's chips? Or do those chips go to the casino if Bond does not return?
Well, I know that I think right when he's poisoned, they say that he's the big blind.
And he pays it. And
he pays it. So I don't think, I mean, I don't know how it rotates, but the small and big are the only ones that have to put the money in.
Yeah.
So essentially, just deal me not into this hand, I think is what you can do. So
yeah,
he would have a couple of rounds to recover from the poison.
I'm sitting here thinking he's only got 1 round to recover from the poison, because like what happens when the cards come around and it's his turn to pay the blind again? Like, will the bank just choose to pay it for him? Because first he has to pay the small blind. And then on the next hand, he would have to pay the big blind. Sure. So it will come
Movie
back
magic.
around. Exactly. Movie magic. He's back in time to have not forfeited, despite the fact that there are several players out. And there are now only 4 people left at the table, Bond being one of them. Felix not being one of them, because right before Bond gets back, Felix busts out. He's done. And he just sits lonely for the rest of the movie because he hasn't introduced himself to Vesper or Mathis. So he's just all by himself, just watching a poker game.
But wait. Hold on. I've always wondered. So it comes up right around here. There's a little bit of banter after the win when they have a dinner. Vesper gets some texts, and she says that
we got to have the actual win.
Okay.
Because we can't go to dinner without a win. Yes, there are 4 people at the table. Everybody goes all in. There are no more buy-ins at this point. The pot is now $124 million. And one by one, everyone reveals their cards, and everybody's got a winning hand, except the next person has a slightly more winning hand until it gets to Bond, who has the most slightly more winning hand. That part I thought was a little silly. The fact that we had 4 people with their cards on the table and each one of them had a great hand, but the next guy just had a better hand.
I mean, you just gotta, in order to stay in the hand, you have to have something though. So it's like, okay.
Yeah.
The guy with the full house would be like, yeah, I've got a good hand. But I feel like if everybody's betting all in,
I would be nervous. I'd be like, what do they know?
Like, well, if I just back out of this pot, I might get second place.
Yeah, like I might be able to walk away with $600,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's, but yes, you're right. Then they go to dinner, and Bond makes a little pig of himself. He talks while he's eating and laughs while he's eating. It's so gross. But yes, she gets a text message, and that's where you were.
Well, it's just because we were talking about Felix sitting out, and you said Bond didn't introduce Felix to Vesper and Mathis. So Bond knows that the CIA is picking up Le Chiffre, but she gets a text from Mathis saying, "Oh, he's being apprehended by the CIA."
Ah.
So I'm like, is that why Bond gets, like, Bond's like, oh, wait.
Yeah.
He says, Mathis. And I've always been like, what? What did you figure out? Because I'm still, what? I didn't figure it out. But
I didn't either.
Mathis and Vesper don't know about Felix being the CIA, I feel like maybe the text message means, like, oh, Mathis is saying this, but I don't know. I have to go look it up and see, because it felt like this Bond figures out that she's in trouble, and it's like, I don't know how you figured that out. Okay. So essentially, it's Mathis is a double agent, which the chief says, but later on.
I was going to say, by the end of the movie, that will come into question, but Bond is committed to trusting no one at that point in the movie. Yeah. But yeah, like, I guess that makes sense. Saying it out loud, I was like, well, surely he told someone about the CIA later, but now I'm sitting here like, I don't think they ever, if they never did in the movie, we can assume that he never did, period. And so if Mathis knows that the CIA is involved, and then Bond is like, wait a minute, how does Mathis know this? Wait a minute, Mathis is connected to Le Chiffre, and Le Chiffre is talking. We don't get to see what happened to Jeffrey Wright. Presumably he did approach Le Chiffre, and maybe Le Chiffre killed him. Maybe that's the end of Felix. Like, we don't know. He's done with the movie at this point, so we're never going to see him in this movie again. We don't know if he's killed off screen. We don't know if he's alive off screen. He's just it's just like you saying that if he's putting that together, that makes sense as to why Bond jumps up to go chasing after Vesper and start a car chase. Kind of.
It's a pretty short car chase, right?
It's such a good misdirect, because we see the baddie's car out in the distance. Bond is revving and he is catching up to them quickly. And then Vesper's on the road, tied up.
Yep.
And so Bond has to swerve and crash his car. So no car chase happened. It's such a wonderful subversion of expectations, because you're like, let's see a car chase, and there is none. Like, he crashes immediately and gets captured by Le Chiffre and his gang. For one of the most visceral torture scenes that this franchise has ever given us. Of a franchise that has given us 2 torture scenes at this point.
Yeah. I just had to rewatch The Spin, and he spins 7 times in that
really
car wreck. I was like, it is a bunch of times, but
it's
7.
a brutal car accident.
Like you'd be dead, man.
Oh yeah.
Not Bond.
I love how brutal it is. Like, this is, I'm going to keep pointing to it. This is Bond year 1. He makes mistakes. Yeah. He's not good at things yet. And he crashed hard.
Year 1 Batman is great. It's the same sort of thing where you're saying, makes mistakes, but gritty and brutal. I tried reading Superman year 1, and I can't make heads or tails of it, because it's like he goes to, I think he ends up in the Amazon's home place, and him and Wonder Woman are like an item. He goes to, initially he's in like high school, and him and Lana are an item, and then someone else later on, and I'm like, this is more like the Superman movie.
Just getting everybody.
Yeah, I'm like, so I didn't love it. I kind of read it to be like ready for Superman.
Yeah, and I have never read Superman Year One. I have read Batman Year One. I think I even read Batman Year Two, which was like a decade later that someone put it out. I don't even think it's the same writer. And it's not as good, but it is supposed to further bridge that concept of getting better. And watching a Batman get better. And that's how this feels. I'm not going to cut
Year One,
by the way. So Bond Year One, he's bad at it and he got captured. And now he's going to be tortured. And the torture is painful to watch.
Yeah, I did not, the first time watching it was like the chair and then we cut out the thing at the bottom of the chair, and it's like, oh, this is, well, I guess this is the origin of why Bond doesn't have kids all over the world. But
I thought the exact same thing.
I'm sure lots of men thought the exact same thing.
I was like, oh, wow.
I mean, we are laughing with it because eventually Bond was laughing with it.
Yes.
But man, is it brutal to start.
It's painful to watch. It's painful to, like, we know it's fiction, and yet, like, it is so visceral, and Bond plays it perfectly. Like, yes, he is on the verge of tears, but he turns his tears into laughter, and he's still arrogant and cocky. Like, so earlier, his arrogance was a weakness, and now we're at a place where his arrogance is going to keep him alive. Because if he can just hold on to that ego, he'll keep throwing Le Chiffre off. But eventually, Le Chiffre is like, fine, no more torture. I'm going to kick your chair over, pull out a knife, and I'll just feed you this thing.
Yeah. It's, I think it's a nice back and forth between someone that is the villain and the hero, and like the hero's not gonna break even at the worst torture that you could do. So it looks like he considers it briefly because you hear Vesper screaming in the other room occasionally.
Yeah.
But it does feel like, well, this is the guy that goes after the mission
on his vacation.
On his vacation, he's literally like, if Roger Moore was in the seduction situation with the guy's wife, he would have just been like, I can't go to Miami right now. Sorry, guys.
We'll do it later.
Bond is going down with the ship.
Yeah.
So.
This is a deeply loyal, like, this may be Year One Bond, and maybe they don't have the cyanide tooth yet.
Oh, sure.
But he's willing to die for Queen and country, and he is willing to undergo torture. But fortunately, Mr. White breaks in and kills Le Chiffre. Full on kills our main villain of the movie.
We haven't seen him since like minute 5 of this movie, so I did not recognize him when I first watched it, and I was like, oh, is this MI6 coming to save him? Okay.
Well,
that's
and
good.
He says exactly, well, not exactly, but he says something that M said. In M's apartment, she had this throwaway line of saying, like, your training is not as important as knowing who to trust, or something. Like, something is not as important as knowing who to trust. And then Mr. White comes in, and Le Chiffre is like, I'm going to get you the money. And Mr. White says, money isn't as important to our organization as knowing who to trust. And I heard that, and I clocked it every single time I heard it. I was like, wait, does that mean that Mr. White is connected to M? Like, is M a traitor? And
not until next movie.
Yeah, we're not going to know in this one.
Him.
And that was one of my frustrations in watching it the first time, is Mr. White delivering the line so similar to M's line just didn't sit well with me. And the fact that Bond never picked up on it really frustrated me. I was like, am I crazy? Am I the crazy one? But yeah, Lashif is dead. Bond passes out and wakes up in a hospital. There he's in a haze. It's this really surreal moment. And then there's a cut that I just hate. I just hate it so much. We cut to, so Bond has been sitting here saying, not Mathis, not him, not him. I don't want to see Mathis. And then we cut to Mathis in the garden talking to Bond. Presumably they have been talking for a while, but Bond is just coming to now when we, the audience, are listening. And I'm like, how did he get out here then? Like, has he been comatose and non-responsive? Like, what? It's just a jarring cut. I don't love it.
I mean, I didn't quite realize that one, but there's another one just a little bit further ahead where Vesper's staring at Bond while he's got his eyes closed out in the same little patio, and it's like,
yeah,
how long have you been staring at him?
And what is going on with Bond? Is he having time slips? Like, what is happening to this man?
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, so
could be.
But as Mathis is talking to him, two agents appear and tase and arrest Mathis. Then yes, you get Vesper with Bond, and the Swiss banker shows up to transfer the money. And that's when Bond reveals that he loves Vesper and that he's going to quit MI6. And they're just going to roam the world. They'll turn in the money so they don't get hunted. But then they'll just go roam.
Yeah. It reminded me of the dates that Lazenby went on with Tracy. Mm-hmm. Because it's just like a quick moment of them, I guess, getting to what would you call it? Not being part of the crazy MI6 and just throwing caution to the wind and being happy to be with each other. And it's like, okay. I mean, at this point, we still have 30 minutes left in this movie.
She makes a line that I know is in reference to the fact that Bond's balls have been crushed, where she says, if it was just your smile and your pinky, you would be more of a man than anyone I've ever met. And Bond is silent for a minute before he says, that's because you know what I can do with my pinky, and they have a cute moment. But every time I hear it, I'm always like, yeah, his balls were crushed. That dude's dead. Like, his baby maker is done.
I feel like that's a lot of trauma for that to survive. Which made it like, not knowing all the other Bond movies, it didn't, like, I was like, oh, I guess Bond is sterile.
Yeah.
Like, in the mythology, because that's what I just thought when I saw this one, is one of, like, more of the first type of Bond that I watched. Mm. So it's like, oh, well, then I didn't necessarily clock it as being like, oh, well, he'll be just like Bond was, and, you know, be going after every lady that he sees.
I mean,
because you just got this lady that loves you, and I mean, eventually lose her.
We'll get to that. But, you know, once the baby maker is done and you learn that the bits still work, like, it's so freeing.
hence the reason of the next scene that they do, where they're just making out and throwing stuff all around.
Oh yeah,
but it's like a closed door type of thing.
They are like,
we're not going to make it too high of a PG-13.
Exactly. But, you know, it's enough to show that the bits still work, even if he's not going to make another child. But yes, they are madly in love. They're in Venice. Bond has resigned from MI6. They're, you know, planning their life together. They're like, we're going to just kind of travel and do whatever we want to do. And then Vesper's like, no, I got to go get the money. I got to go get the money. And we skipped over it, but they were on a sailboat while Bond was doing his resignation. They were traveling through Venice, and we see this one guy with a clear glass and then a like black glass very noticeable in a crowd, very suspicious looking. He's our new villain. He doesn't have a name, I don't think. I don't know.
Oh, I have no idea.
I don't know if he's ever named, but this is our third and final movie, and it's probably the weakest movie of Casino Royale.
Yes. Of the 3 movies, yes.
Yeah. Because Vesper has turned traitor. M calls 007, but Vesper has left her phone behind. M is like, hey, I got your note. We can talk about it later, but where's the money, Bond? Where's the money, Lebowski? And Bond's like, well, I didn't think anyone... He's playing it coy, being like, I didn't think anyone would miss it. I'm going to go to the bank now. But then he goes into Bond mode where he's like, I'm out of here. I gotta go.
Gotta go figure out why she betrayed him, and it does kind of turn him back into the Bond, the first movie, where
we're back to
hardcore
action Bond. And I don't... This is where I have trouble with the Vesper Bond relationship, because in this portion of the movie, he even says that he is going to kill her. But then later on, he's going to be desperately trying to save her. So I'm just conflicted.
That was a weak part.
Yeah. It's just hard to wrap my head around where Bond's heart is. And at the same time, I can also accept that in real life, when we are going through strong emotions, we go back and forth. We get some whiplash, emotionally speaking. So part of me is like, it's fine, I can forgive it. Another part of me is like, this is a movie. Let's have clear storytelling.
Yeah. The reasoning for it going to kill her was like, but I mean, either she was a really good spy or she actually did kind of want to spend the time with you. Mm-hmm. I feel like they play it as she's so overcome with guilt that she was trying to pay off this money that she can't even stand staying with him.
M will tell us the story shortly, but we've got to have the fight scene, and it's not a great fight scene. It's interesting. No. You've got these buildings in Venice being renovated, and what they do, especially if they have to raise it up as the water level is rising, they have to essentially use balloons to lift the building up and do the renovation on the foundation and all that stuff. So it's a very interesting idea. I just don't like it. After all that we've been through in this movie, one more big set piece moment just feels a little too much for me.
Yeah. I mean, without it, the third movie has nothing else. It's just a Bond riding off into the sunset, but we want Bond to be a franchise.
Yes.
So
we need some kind of cliffhanger.
Yeah.
The money.
So yes, it ends worse than other movies.
Yes. The money falls into the wreckage of the building, so presumably MI6
it's gone.
Yeah, it's either gone or MI6 could
Mr.
recover
White
it, but
has it.
Well, Mr. White did not get it because the guy who got the money dropped it into the water as the building is sinking.
He
is killed.
Watching. No, like at the very end at the top of the roof.
Mr. White is there?
Oh, I want to say yes.
I missed that, and I'm reading it now. Right there. It says he's watching all of this happening, and then he leaves with the suitcase full of money. I missed that entirely. So Mr. White got away. It's very
short.
At least
he got the money.
Yeah. Bond lost. He gets a call from MI6. M is essentially like, sometimes we can't win them all. Like, it sucks that you didn't get any information about the greater organization. Sucks that everything's going on. It's something called Quantum, because remember, kids, we don't have the rights to Spectre yet. So,
we need an organization to span multiple movies.
We want an organization, but we're not allowed to call it Spectre, so it's called Quantum now. And apparently Vesper had a boyfriend. Bond had this throwaway line where Vesper was like, oh, you're falling for me. And he's like, you're not my type. And she's like, what's your type? And he's like, Taken.
Oh, yeah.
because he went after Solange, the married woman, and we find out she had a boyfriend the whole time. The boyfriend had been kidnapped by Lashif, or by Quantum, rather, and this was her way of trying to get him back, but she also knew that she probably wasn't going to survive, and then she straight up killed herself. Like,
yeah.
She locked the door to the elevator. She could have gotten away.
It didn't quite track very well to, like, I guess if she thought she was going to die when she was taking the money, like, I feel like she didn't do very much. Well, she did send a text somewhere on her phone saying, go after Mr. White, so Bond has a lead. But I'm like, aside from that, like, if Bond got there and got rid of all the bad guys, why don't just stay with Bond?
Bond has proven over and over and over again that he is more than capable of protecting her. Like, why didn't she trust him at the end? But she didn't. She's dead now, and Bond's upset about it, but he's got a lead. He doesn't tell M about it. Instead, we cut to Mr. White, who is at his palace, his palatial manor, somewhere. I guess it's in northern Italy. I don't know if the movie tells us that, but the wiki surely does. Mr. White gets a call, and it's Bond's voice who says, "Mr. White, we need to talk." Then you hear a gunshot in the distance, and the swiftly approaching sound of a round.
Not too far in the distance.
Exactly. Just far enough for us to hear kind of the whistle and then see Mr. White's leg get shot. Oh, it's so good. And we finally get to see Bond coming into his own, where he's not just going to kill a dude. Like, he understands that he needs to get information. And so the movie ends with Bond getting, well, at least introducing himself to Mr. White, but presumably to get information on Quantum.
And I mean, start the next movie right now. This movie's not done.
Yeah, like, Quantum is still out there, so we got to do it. But then the credits play. We get 2 credit songs. We get an instrumental song, and followed by a bad transition to the main Chris Cornell theme song. Yeah. It's not important.
I don't think I've been listening to the credits.
Marvel has taught me to sit through credits, and so I do every time. But that has made me overly critical of credits as well, because, you know, we're 2 years away from Iron Man happening, and credits are starting to get more complicated. Except for Bond, who just has white text on a black background and 2 songs playing. But they do promise that Bond will return. And before we talk about that at all, we have to say that on this podcast, we do ratings, not grades. So our reviews are a 1 out of 10, most are. But what a grade would say is that a 7 out of 10 is the average, because we don't want the students to feel bad. But we're not teachers. We're here talking about, you know, media. So we don't care about people's feelings. Instead, for us, the 5 is an average. That is the true middle. That is the average. Don't be upset if your favorite movie gets a 5. Just means it's in the middle. It just means it's an average. It's not like an average. It's just an average. Like, don't read too much into it. With that said, Justin, what would you rate this movie on a scale of 1 to 10?
The second movie in this movie is a 10 out of 10. Unfortunately, it's sandwiched between...
You didn't like the first movie in this movie?
Well, I just enjoy the second one more because of the banter and the relationship. But first movie is a great Jason Bourne light. Like,
parkour,
there's a lot of stuff
action
happening. Yeah. Overall, everything together, I would give it an 8. I love this movie because it's actiony, and I enjoyed it so much.
I gotta say, I'm counting now. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. And now for the 4th time, we both agree. Because I'm also at an 8.
It was better than all of the other Bonds so far.
It really is. This
really hold any hope out for the next ones being better.
Yeah. Okay. Of the Daniel Craig era, I have seen Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace before we did this podcast. I had seen both of them once. Skyfall, I have seen twice. Because Skyfall I liked a lot, and I hope that holds up. I hope that I still like it. But when I watched this the first time this week, I was so upset at the non-ending that I was like, this is a 6 out of 10. You can't even end the movie. But then I watched it a second time, and I really started to get that year one vibe. And thanks to Batman, I now understand that you can tell an incomplete story as a complete story. The incomplete aspect of it is showing the flaws of the character. In Empire Strikes Back, the good guys lost at the end. So you need to have Return of the Jedi in order to conclude that story. And we need to have Quantum of Solace, hopefully, to conclude this story. I don't know. I've only seen it once.
I don't know about that.
But with this movie, despite the fact that it doesn't have a true ending per se, I really started to enjoy the fact that we had an imperfect version of Bond, a Bond that's still learning what he's doing. And that worked for me really well. So I'm glad I gave it a second viewing, because that gives us a show average of 8 out of 10, which is our top rated Bond movie so far. That's incredible.
It's hard to not be the truth, because the rest of them I would probably not watch again.
There's a few from the older era that I will definitely watch again, because there are some of them that I think are just classics. They hold up. There are some that I think don't hold up, and I would still watch them again because there's just elements to them. This movie, it's getting close to 20 years old at this point, and people continue to say, like, this movie is awesome. Like, come back to Casino Royale because it works. And especially if you are familiar with Bond, this is such an interesting look at the early days of Bond, because again, this is the hard reboot. But if you're not into Bond, then this is a really good and capable spy thriller that ends with a bit of a cliffhanger and maybe encourages you to come back. I think most audiences agree that this really is, so far in 2006, this is the best 007 movie that has ever been made. They knocked it out of the park. They did it.
Yeah. I think that's a very fair rating.
Yeah, it really is so exciting to see a genuinely great movie out of this franchise of good to middling movies primarily. A couple of stinkers, because you can't have a total perfect record.
I think looking at it, whenever I start them, I look at how long they're going to be. And knowing that it was 2 hours and 20 minutes, I was still happy to watch all of it.
Yeah, it is a surprisingly quick 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Because you get done with it and you're like, wow, it's over? And
everything happened.
Everything that needed to happen happened, and there's room for more. That's back to my criticism, is I wish they had ended the movie, but at that point, they knew they were making another one. They had signed Daniel Craig for a multi-picture contract. I think at that point it was a 3-picture deal. So the fact that he got 5 movies out of it shows that, like, not only did they love what he did with the first 3 movies, they were like, please be Bond.
Felix comes back in the 2021.
Oh, good. We will get another Felix Leiter at least.
I mean, technically he's gone for so much, but then
yeah,
I guess 14 years later he comes back.
Presumably he was killed in this movie.
Yeah,
you know, at least
when you mentioned it, I was like,
seems
like he might have been killed. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's had his ups and downs, and in the hard reboot, he disappears. But yeah, it's exciting to be at this point in the franchise. You and I were children in the 90s, and the Brosnan era left a pretty big impression on our cultural surroundings. Like, even if we were not super into Bond in the 90s, because I didn't get into it until like the 2000s, it was still a major part of culture for that period. So it was a no-brainer that when Casino Royale came out, everyone was going to see it. Pierce Brosnan, every movie he made was worse than the previous one, except that it made more money than the previous one. Like, he was on top of his game even when he was at the bottom of his game. So of course we were going to come back when a new Bond had come out, and the producers were like, we've got a guaranteed audience, but that doesn't mean we should just phone it in. Like, we're taking a risk by switching actors. That has been a risk every time this franchise has done it. They have to come out on a good foot, and oh boy did they. So I like it.
Great. Best one.
Yep, definitely. Alrighty then. If you have enjoyed yourself, why don't you leave us some feedback or a rating on whatever platform you are using? You can leave a comment or a like. You could share the episode. That's a great way to help us out. If you are into shorts and you want to see some of ours, we put those out on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. We would love to have you there. We've started to get a few comments on some of these videos. This was a comment that I found interesting just because you and I kind of bashed this movie pretty hard. Last week when we did Die Another Day, we put out the shorts, and on TikTok, a literal plowboy wrote, "I know people love to treat Die Another Day like it's one continuous shark jump, but I do enjoy it." And I will say to a literal plowboy, it has its moments that are fun, and it does stick to the memory, but the movie is bad. Like, it's a bad movie.
I can't remember which one is that. Oh, it's the
Space
Batman
Laser.
boat. Space Laser, but that one's also the last one, right?
Yep, the last Pierce Brosnan one.
I mean, it does have some ones.
You gave it a 5.
Nice.
You gave it an average rating. Yeah, so you are probably with a literal plowboy. I was the one who was like, 1 out of 10, this movie sucks. And I still hold to that. Even a 1 out of 10 movie in my eyes can have good moments. I don't think, now that we've done the podcast, I don't think I ever have a reason to come back to Die Another Day. All right, yeah, and then email. Sorry. You can email us at potatochippicturespod@gmail.com. That is the final way to get in touch with us. And we will be back next week when Potato Chip Pictures and James Bond return in Quantum of Solace. Thank you guys so much for listening. Goodbye.
Bye, y'all.